Ooh. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode, I believe it's 10, Hot Pudge Sunday, one-on-one. Instagram Live. I'm Pudge Fernandez, your host. Again, happy to be here. It's been a crazy week, been a long week. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you know this is episode 10. Thank you for watching all the Facebook, the 6 feet, 6 questions that I've been doing. It's been a hell of a ride since this quarantine. Like I shared very early on of this process. Yeah, man, I'm investing. I'm investing in myself and in my career with the social media, with the YouTube channel. By the way, Hot Pudge Sunday. Everything goes on Hot Pudge Sunday YouTube channel. Check it out. If you missed any of this, go to Hot Pudge Sunday YouTube channel. And it's been a hell of a ride. A lot of bumps and bruises. Like I said before, I'm a technological dummy, so I don't understand half the shit. And hey, it's been a fun ride. You don't succeed without failure, and I've been failing pretty much almost at least every other week with this technology. My last episode got cut, apparently, because I don't know, in my past episodes, sometimes I put on a little bit of music, and I didn't think Beethoven was an issue. But apparently they tried to take me off the air. My interview got cut short, but it came back. It's the one with Daniel Parafan. It's on my YouTube channel. And so I don't know. I got a warning from Facebook like a month ago. I was playing U2. Obviously, I got it. I thought maybe somebody told me classical music because it's so old. It's not really copywritten, and I can get away with classical music. So I'm like, awesome. I love classical music. But apparently now I don't know because I got flagged last Wednesday, and today I put on a little jazz. So yeah, still messing around, still learning. I mean, it's, again, the beginning stages. I don't have this all down yet, but I'm excited. I'm getting a new laptop, so pretty soon I'm going to start editing. I'm going to have intros. I'm looking to make this thing pretty cool. So again, thanks for bearing with me, following me and just watching me grow every step of the way. So trying to make it interesting, trying to make it fun. And hey, let's start with putting our next interviewee on every week. Hot Pudge Sunday, Hot Pudge Wednesday. Got a different person to interview, somebody always cool, exciting. Most of them are comedians because that's who I work with. So let's not wait. Let's start. Actually, our only guest, Reginald Ferguson from Brooklyn, New York, stand-up comedian and host of a podcast, Fashion Geek?
The Fashion Geeks.
The Fashion Geeks. You got your PPE on. You got the PPE.
Yeah, well, I mean, this may go viral, so I just want to be safe.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're sideways, right?
Why? I thought, why am I sideways?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh.
See, that's the technical difference. Oh, there you go. Is it on a tripod?
Yeah.
That's why I had the same issue. See, same thing. I put it, yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's it. Same thing. No problem. I'm telling you, this whole technology thing is new to me. I'm making every mistake possible. And that was one of the first things I did when I got a brand new tripod was I had it on sideways, but it's all good. Look at that. You're straight. Look at that.
I've always been straight.
Da-dun. Thank you. Thank you. Da-da-da-da-da. Don Rickles has nothing on you. All right. How are you, man?
He's one of my heroes. He's one of my idols.
Do you know Don Rickles and I graduated from the same high school?
What?
Yeah.
What high school is that?
Newtown High School in Elmhurst, Queens.
Holy cow.
That's right. Don Rickles and me. Same high school. That's like I'm very proud to say that. It's kind of freaking cool.
It's very cool. Funny guy. I love him.
Yeah, if you look at he's done a lot of interviews, hundreds, thousands of interviews, and there's a couple we met. He's from Jackson Heights, Queens. That's where he grew up. So he lived in Jackson Heights, Queens, and he went to Newtown High School before he joined the Navy.
Really? Yeah, and he was on this. He was on the show McHale's Navy.
Yeah. Remember that show on NBC?
Yeah. Well, I remember the repeats. Yeah, I freaking love that show. Tim Conway.
Yeah.
Ernest Borgnine.
Anything with him on it was cool. I totally loved it. I grew up watching him on Johnny. Like whenever I could, I could stay
Yeah.
up late. Absolutely, I love watching. Thank God for YouTube because I can see all his clips.
Yeah, you can find all that stuff. And the funny thing about the Johnny Carson stuff is that, all that's gone, really. They never kept tapes back then. So who would have thunk it?
So where did the clips come from?
I mean, obviously some people may have clips and obviously they're posting them, but the
Okay,
majority of the Johnny Carson show, no, they taped over those things back then.
really?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You could look it up.
That's crazy because even back then, there were reruns. Eventually,
Yeah.
I know in the
No one was
beginning,
really
in the
thinking,
beginning,
no one was really thinking about saving things for posterity back then.
there was one person, and he did it. Desi Arnaz.
Oh, okay.
That was part of the deal when they launched I Love Lucy. Part of the deal was that he would keep the masters.
Oh, that's
He
excellent.
would keep, yes, that was part of the deal. And he was thinking that, go figure, a Cuban in Hollywood, what was it, in the 50s, was thinking
He's a
ahead.
smart guy. Doesn't matter your race or ethnicity. You're smart. You're smart. I mean, they
I mean,
formed
yeah, no,
Desilu Productions. So
yeah,
that
and I'm
was
just saying, back then,
yeah,
not only the show, but they went on to, they bought a studio and, Desilu Productions.
yeah.
So, obviously some people were thinking ahead. I guess not Johnny or his people, which is odd, but
Again, I mean, it's really of the time that a lot of these things, they're re-recorded on the tapes.
yeah. Hey, Turkey 2503 wants to know why you're wearing a mask.
Because this interview may go viral, Donna. So you never know.
Okay, there you go, Donna. It might go viral. It might go. I'm not wearing a mask, but that's just me. I'm in phase one. This is phase
You
one.
you cough a lot, so I don't know. When we did our 6 feet 6 questions, you were hacking there. I was glad I kept you at a
Yeah,
distance.
it's that. You know what? That's gonna worry me now because I've always had this hacking cough sometimes, and it's never a big deal. It's like allergies or I got this post nasal drip, and it's never been an issue publicly. It just happens. But now, post Corona, people are gonna look at me like like terrified and shit. So I'm worried about
Well,
that.
that's why I came to Quip. I don't want it to come through the phone.
And very, very, yes, absolutely understood. Understood. Let everybody see your face. I think you're very handsome. Everyone loved the picture I posted of you, by the way.
Oh, and that's an old photo. That's so funny because you didn't ask for anything. It's totally cool. But I was telling someone today because someone's giving me a hard time. They're like, "That's an old photo." I'm like, "So what? Like, really? Like, it's still
Yeah,
me."
I don't usually ask because because you're a comedian and all
Yeah,
comedians. We don't have a shitload of pictures.
yeah,
We've been on flyers and shows, so I know you got. I'm just like I'm not for nothing, but sometimes I get when some people are doing a show and they want to ask me for a picture. I'm like, dude, just take my face. I got my pictures are there. Just take one. Take anyone, and
yeah, yeah. This is my COVID headshot. So
oh shit, COVID headshot.
there you go.
COVID is changing things, especially in the entertainment field. I just saw recently. I heard about it a while ago that going forward, whenever there's auditions, it's going to be via Zoom. Like you're going to be auditioning from home.
I did my first one probably 3 to 4 weeks ago
How did that feel like?
for a commercial. It was fine. It actually wasn't Zoom. It was through my phone. So set
Okay.
up the phone. At the time, I didn't have my phone clip, which I have now. Actually, I did have a phone clip. I didn't know I had it. It's a shame when you have too many things in your house. So, but still, I set it up right, and my agent submitted it. And then, yes, if we had had a callback, it would have been through Zoom. And the
Okay.
irony is, the shoot was I was playing a priest, and I was presiding over a wedding through Zoom. So, how about that?
It would have made sense. A total. So yeah. But to think that this might be the future, and I actually just saw a class. So you know how there's always acting classes and commercial classes. So now
Sure.
there's a Zoom audition class. So
And
people
so,
are
like
already
I
like.
said,
So I was like,
you
holy yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ironically, so I'm part of SAG-AFTRA. I'm part of the
Okay.
union. Also, literally right around that time, it might have even been the same week. There was a Zoom, and a casting director was the main speaker, but even the national president, Carteris, was there on the call and everything. And it was
Wow.
about preparing. Yeah, it was about
The
preparing for
future.
this. Yeah, well, contemporary. I mean, this is we're not going to go backwards. This is how it's going to work. The majority of auditions, whether it's commercial or for TV or movies, are going to go through this guise. Obviously, you're still going to go to casting houses, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So
They
you
might.
have
They,
to really have you really have to have your equipment. Matter of fact, as I speak, I'm delaying, and I know I have to do it. I was speaking with my writing partner, who you know, Ben Rosenfeld,
Ben.
and I have to get additional lights. I have wonderful natural light. And then when you told me the time of this, I went, oh, I can't do this in my living room. I have to do this in another place. And this is my hallway, obviously. Um,
I was about
I,
to say, I think a lot of us, we're going to be turning some of our apartments and bedrooms into studios. Like we're going to have, you know what I'm
you
saying? It's
have
like, it's,
you have to. I'm
and,
about
and
to
it,
invest in twin LED lights. I'm
wow,
just procrastinating, but I'm about to do it.
it's happening. It's coming. And I won't,
Yeah,
I don't think, I think they're going to eliminate us probably not the whole process of auditioning, but at least the first step. Like this could be the first step. And maybe if you make it to the next step, then it might be one in person. But the initial, you know,
can you help me? Because obviously I wear glasses. Blaze has a comment, and I think it's related to what we're talking about.
yes, I've had a couple of Zoom auditions. I bet you see it more. It's cheaper.
It
Good
is.
freaking point. Good
Yeah.
point. It's cheaper. Imagine how much money and everything, you know, Hollywood and money. So
Yeah.
how many hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of dollars are they going to save on the space, the renting or the leasing of the space, the hiring of the people to come in, transportation, food, whatever, all that adds up.
Yeah, I mean it's a head scratching thing, but I mean, but Blaze is right, and Blaze, he knows he has a green screen for one of his projects.
Wow.
So yeah, so he's had an ongoing project, and now as opposed to going to the studio, he's doing it in his living room, and he's got a green screen. He's got a roll up green screen. It's pretty cool.
That's yeah, that I'm telling you. I mean, I'm trying to now. I'm thinking about we're all going to be saving money. We're going in a whole new direction. It's green screens, lighting, everything.
Yeah,
Now we're gonna have to do our like makeup, our own makeup to make sure. You know what I'm saying?
sure,
Because they're not seeing us in person. So it's
right.
like if you're doing this through video, you got that one shot to look your best. So I mean, everything's got to be done right, and you're doing it yourself. So
Right.
that's wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
that's another interesting point in terms of the union because we have to make sure, are we doing the job of the makeup person or of the hair person? And if so, that may be an additional payment. So this is all stuff that's been shared either through email or again some of the Zoom conferences I've attended through the union.
It's interesting, but everything. Yeah, this Corona. I mean, it's going to be a pinpoint in our history with things turn and change in so many ways. I mean,
Absolutely.
everything from the entertainment field to how people work. People were talking about how many jobs, or is it smart to have employees work from home? And they've entertained it. They were skeptical. Well, guess what? Corona just forced it. So now they have their answer. Like it or
Yeah.
not, here it is. So, and I think that's going to change. Okay, the education system. I had a nephew's birthday yesterday, and I was talking to the kids, and they were saying that if they go back to school in September, they might do this 3 days in class, 2 days at home schooling.
Yeah. I've been reading about that. Yeah. An
That's
alteration.
the education system. Uh, Geez, what else? I mean, it's just people working from home, the education system, uh, the social movement that's happening today. Whatever with the Black Lives Matter, with the George Floyd incident, we have this opportunity to make a big. That's gonna be. I think that's gonna be the biggest change coming out of the whole Corona, the year of the Corona, is the social movement and everything that everyone's doing because what happened in Minnesota with George Floyd, and that seems to be. It's still going, and I'm amazed and happy and supportive. And it sounds a little odd, but if it wasn't for Corona, it may have been swept under the rug a lot quicker, like a lot of other movements or a lot of other instances where something happened. But because everybody's home and not in school, they're able to be more persistent, which is, I think, very much needed for something like this.
Sure. I mean, you never know, but it was a series and confluence of events that have led to this groundswell. Certainly, as a person of color, and to me, the lead charge. I'm black, you're brown. Um, I'm really curious to see what happens. This is a great start, but for struggles like ours, you need longevity. So I'm 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 curiously optimistic.
Curiously optimistic also. It's like I see positive things happen. I know Governor Cuomo already signed some laws into place. Like
Well,
he,
I know he's supportive of 50A. So,
which was
and
58.
that's all about now the revealing of every complaint, whether it's a police officer, but also corrections
Public.
officer. Actually, I was listening today on BLS, and they do a lot of public affairs on Sunday morning. They have like three separate shows, and I had gotten a late start, so I'm old school. I have a radio in my bathroom, like how I grew up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, small transistor. And yes, Blaze. Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely a start.
Yeah. I thought they should open the books. I always
Well,
thought,
they should, but
because
it was interesting. It was interesting. The president of the Corrections Association, his whole issue was, okay, if you're going to repeal this is fine. He said, but also be aware that people bring forth false complaints as well.
yeah.
Not every complaint is legitimate. And his whole issue was he wishes that they had a seat at the table up in Albany when this new legislation got written up. It
See
was an
here.
interesting point that I had not thought of. And he
See, here's
wasn't
the thing. See, he's making he's making a very good point in defense of 58. You know, as far as the police, but it goes both ways, and this is what always bothered me. Anytime something happens and makes the news, aka, like for example, George Ferguson, their files get opened up. I've never seen a time where something happens, and what happens? The person in question, the victim, the person of color, their files get opened up. I mean, they go back.
right.
You see what? And I always say, okay, fine. Where's the police officer file? So that's why I agree that the police, the commissioner makes a good point. Oh, I wish that some of these complaints aren't just. Well, you know what? Some of these arrests and prior arrests aren't just either. It works both ways. Yeah, you can arrest a person of color, black or brown, and something will pop off, and boom, they're gonna blow up the guy's record, and he has a pop. He got popped for weed. Ooh,
Right.
see what I'm saying? But they're gonna use
Oh,
that.
absolutely. No. When they do that, and they do that with us all the time, it's
Yeah,
obfuscation. Let's bring up something in this person's past that's sordid, allegedly,
yeah.
so we can dissuade you from the real point.
So I mean, it
This
should. If we,
this has happened to us for quite a while.
it's look, I'm very equal opportunity. If you're gonna open up our books, then we got to open up your books, and that's the way it should be. Because
Yeah,
it's already unfair.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's already unfair in the streets right now. Not it's got to be unfair in the press. It's always unfair in the courtroom when you start bringing up people's history, and and they're always trying to persuade through the media
Hey,
people's
Natalie,
perception. Hmm?
just waving to my friend Natalie who just joined.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
So
yeah, I'm all for opening the books. But like you said, I'm optimistic, curious, because I don't know, some of it is politics, and I just don't get, like, one of the things I believe Governor Cuomo just passed is an anti-choking bill,
hmm,
or a non-choking, making choking illegal.
mhm.
And the reason I question that, or I don't is because I thought that passed already, like a decade ago in New York City. I think, wasn't choking already illegal in the New York City Police Department?
I would never claim to know everything that's written on the books. So, and I was unaware, like I said, I'm definitely aware of what's happened in Albany in terms of 50A, not aware about the anti-choking. Obviously, listen, no matter what state you're in, no matter where you are in the world, this shouldn't be a tactic.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I
This
just thought
shouldn't.
I thought it was addressed in New York City already. That's why um, the the whole thing in Staten Island with that choking, that threw me off, because it was I remember, I forgot the gentleman's name, but the story was it was a young man, Puerto Rican, up in the Bronx, who got choked out.
Bias,
Huh?
bias,
Anthony
bias.
Baez.
I never forget. I never forget that.
Anthony Baez, right?
Yes, I never forget
Anthony.
that.
Okay, right.
I
Okay,
never.
you got.
No, no, no. I mean, I'm sorry. I feel like when you're a person of color, you may not know them verbatim, but you remember them.
You remember the
So
name, face, or the story?
absolutely, yeah, it was in the
Yeah,
Bronx. I know. I
yeah.
remember the whole situation.
Was it Bronx or
Football hit.
Upper Manhattan?
It was in the
Upper
Bronx.
Manhattan. I remember it was
It was in the
Uptown.
Bronx.
It was
Bias
Bronx.
was the
Okay.
Bronx.
And when you said Baez, boom, Anthony. Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he got.
Football hit the squad car. I remember it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and he got
Remember
choked
like it
out.
was just. Yeah.
I remember that's when it made it illegal. That's why when we had the other choking incident in Staten Island, I was scratching my head, and I was like, wait a minute, like, why is he still I mean, and this is decades apart. I think at least a decade apart. Didn't they make it illegal? Why did he do that? Unless he felt comfortable. Unless that's maybe what they taught him. I don't know. Like, what the hell? That's.
All right. Blaze says it's hard to hear me with the mask. All right, fine.
There you go. There you go. There's a handsome
I thought it was
face.
funny. I'm funny. It was very well color coordinated, guys. I'm just saying.
Oh, yes, it
So
was. There you
it
go.
was. This is
There
a
you
this
go.
is a Fila T-shirt, and you can't see the logo, but the logo has red, and I was color coordinated. All right, fine. So here's my Corona Riskers.
See, there you go. You're getting a lot of hearts now. See, there you go. There you go. Everyone's giving you hearts. See, the smile.
Thank you.
You
Thank
have a
you.
nice face with the smile and everything.
I
That's a
know.
beautiful thing.
Okay, well, yeah, but
It's a beautiful. I don't have
it's
that.
like a bonus. See, when I had the mask, it was like,
Yeah. Oh.
ah.
This is what happens when you go with comedians. You interview, because there's always going to be a funny
It's always gonna be
somewhere.
something.
It's always going to be
I
something
knew
funny.
you had interviewed no one who came on with a mask. I knew that. So,
No, no,
yeah.
no, no, no. Wait a minute. There was one briefly.
Oh, okay, fine.
Your number two, but you kept it on longer.
I would have continued, but unfortunately, I can see some of the comments.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they want to hit the mask. Does, like,
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
So
it's audio,
I'm,
but you're good now.
I receive feedback very well. My friends
There
know
you
that.
go. There you go. But it's, the mask. It's, God. How long you think we'll have to wear it for?
I'm gonna wear it. I mean, indefinitely. I have no compunctions about wearing a mask. So I have a series of them now. Today
Yeah.
that was a maiden voyage. This red one, that was a maiden voyage today.
I feel like
So
the mask is going to be trendy now, because I already seen, like, the baseball, the
it's
giant mask, the football mask, the Mets, the Yankee
the
mask.
mask.
Shorty says forever. I don't know, Shorty. I like my face to be out. I want people to see
No,
me.
it's indefinite. I mean, and certainly it is, and we can talk about it if you so choose. But certainly for me, since I have a side hustle with a fashion consultancy, I have a newsletter for that business. And in May, I was like, this is going to last for a long time, and it's going to be an aspect of people's personality. So seeing logos, seeing colors, seeing patterns, that's all reflection of individuality. And for certain people, it's going to be and continues to be extremely important about how you're perceived through a mask. So the remainder of the year, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beyond, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, to me, wouldn't you rather adorn it longer rather than shorter for the protection of yourself and complete strangers, much less loved ones? So that could lead into an entirely related subject about the lack of discipline and the lack of sacrifice that I feel a lot of people are not making. So the mask, it's
I
June.
think
I
it,
can wear the mask again. I'll wear this mask until the end of the year, tons of course, but I have no problem with that.
I think absolutely here in New York City, it's going to last probably the longest out of any other city, but the rest of the country is not on board. And you were saying, yeah, the lack of discipline, and it's a very geographical thing how it's taken, because it's not, nobody knows the impact that we went through.
What, ignorance?
Uh,
It's very
listen,
geographical.
well, it's
20 states, 20
I
states, 20 states, ugh, 20 states have higher numbers now
yeah,
since they opened up.
Florida,
I
Texas,
know
yeah,
epidemiologists, I'm no scientist, but come on.
yeah. That's
Well, well,
because they yeah because they
let's do
came.
this right.
Here's the thing. Yeah, it was their ignorance. See, we got hit hard because of our city and our population and the way
Our
we're on top of each other.
yes.
So, and the rest of the country, if they had stood still, I don't think the numbers wouldn't have been that great. But what happened? They came together and they forced themselves, and now, yeah, the numbers, yeah, like in all those rallies where they weren't wearing masks to protest, they're the ones who got it. All the parties in Florida,
Well, let's
like
be
they
clear.
couldn't.
Any mass congregation, listen, what's been going on with the past few weeks with all the protests? I mean, again, that's a magnet as well.
Yeah,
And
so there might be
it's
a
a
jump here.
it's a great sacrifice that should be applauded. So, but
There might be I'm worried too, because of all the protests, there might be a jump here, and we're
a
already
jump
moving forward.
jump anywhere, a jump
Yeah,
anywhere,
we're already
not
moving
even
forward.
domestic, internationally as well.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't kept up with the international. I know
Oh,
that
it's
I know
impressive. I watch it a lot. It's impressive.
I
It
know there's
really.
I know a lot of those countries had spikes. They all
Oh,
almost.
wait, are you talking about COVID or are you talking about Mr. Floyd?
No, Mr. Floyd is impressive. The COVID, they've been spikes.
Right, right.
As well as far as Floyd, yeah, I thought that was the most amazing, beautiful thing when I'm watching the news and I see all these Denmark, the
Right.
UK,
Right.
Germany, France, I think
Yeah.
Australia too, right? I was like, holy
Italy. I mean,
shit.
yeah, Spain has
Yeah.
been
I
as
thought
well.
that was so fucking cool. And it just goes to show what America is, whether we're number one and all that hoopla, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't even want to go.
not number one. We're not number one anymore. I mean, New York is for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Um,
But we are the
but
center of attention. When it comes to anything, we are the center of attention. People do watch us and they
well,
react.
we're the venue, but the topic is racism.
Yeah.
So, and endemic institutionalized racism. And I think what you mentioned earlier, like I said, it's an amazing, strange confluence that have
Yeah.
led to this fervor of activity. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the response, and again, I'm
Yeah.
curiously optimistic about how this works. Because for someone who knows a little bit about protesting,
Yeah.
you have to have it's a long play if you really want to affect change.
Yeah, it's definitely. I love the push and I love the longevity because that's something we really haven't had before. It seems like everything dies down eventually, but yeah, this is, for lack of a better phrase, good timing because everyone's home and able and available, and consistent.
Certainly played a factor. And now
And
we just need this. We need this to affect policies. It has to affect policies in order to affect people.
well, we're starting slowly but surely. I mean, our own governor's changing some policies. Let's see what happens.
It's
But
always slow for the people who have been put upon. It's never quick enough.
but then it's also, not to think negatively, but I mean, we can have some great policies now, but what's to say that the next person in charge is going to turn them off or flip them off? Because I mean, I say that because I just saw, the thing with the president, how he just switched off healthcare for the LGBT community. They're not,
Yes.
they're not being recognized as equals within the healthcare system, and just kind of turned off their switch just like that. So it's like, okay, great that we're making some headway now and changing policies, but what's to say the next person in charge is going to flip it back?
People of color have always been affected disproportionately, and that's been proven. Poor people also affected disproportionately, also proven. So, to your point, to quote, the late Tip O'Neill, all politics is local. So we have to really be concerned about what's happening in our city and what's happening in our state first, and obviously, fingers crossed for the federal response.
How do you think this whole with the George Floyd and the protests and COVID? I mean, it's a whole package now. How do you think it's gonna, affect the president, the November?
I hope that this affects things positively come November. My fingers are crossed. Again, we'll see what happens. But to me, for a lot of things in life, it means nothing unless you're impacted, unless you're infected, affected. What a Freudian slip. So I have a dear friend that I lost to COVID. I knew him close to half my life.
Wow.
And he was literally the wrong place at the wrong time. He was a senior citizen, and he had just come from a bout of chemotherapy in which he had won, in which he had beat cancer. And instead of convalescing at home, they had him convalesce at a senior center. And so for me, the president has blood on his hands. And people should understand that if they have friends or family that they've lost. From a local level, listen, I just recently read a Wall Street Journal investigation, and we blew it too. The governor and the mayor blew it initially. And I know the governor gets major props and positive feedback for doing his job.
Yeah.
So, but we stumbled at the gate too. We've kind of brushed that to the side because of the strength of his press conferences and his actions. And certainly I like the fact that he has empathy. I mean, he has a mom that's up in age. So the age of his mom, Matilda, is essentially around the same age as my friend, Joe Hennessy. So, and one false move right there before the grace. So I think if people just through a common sense approach, they see with their eyes what is happening, that with a country that's very apathetic anyway when it comes to voting, that I hope so that we can attempt to move on.
I think that's part of the problem is a lot of the country. I mean, there's the lack of empathy and understanding because they're not impacted like we are. I think New Yorkers can speak on this because we've been. I mean, it reminds me of 9/11, whereas if you weren't affected by it directly, you weren't more than 1 degree of separation from someone that did get affected directly on that day. And that's what COVID feels to me, because I mean, I can't tell you how many people. I mean, my family, some people got affected, but thank God they recovered. But it is people losing people. I mean, look, you just shared something with us right now, and you're just another person I know that lost somebody close. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we understand it, we know it, we believe in it, and we can attest to it. But the rest of the country, and I find it kind of odd because on 9/11, we're the ones who got hit the hardest, and everyone was behind us. Here we are, COVID-19, we're getting hit the hardest, and everyone's like, nah, you do your thing, we'll do our thing. I'm like, really? I mean, we know this. We know this. We're speaking from, personal experience here. So I try to tell people, don't listen to the news. Don't listen to just, you want the truth? Talk to a New Yorker. Okay. And as a New Yorker, I live in Queens, and I think like Elmhurst Hospital was one of the top, if not number one, hospitals in New York City with COVID patients. And that's literally, I can walk there, 5-6 minute drive, if that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's the lack of empathy and understanding and trust, and the administration who continues to divide us. It's not a good combination.
No, and may I add, certainly it's a difference in time. So the political
True.
climate is vastly
Yeah.
different from your epic touch point of 9/11.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's because this is insidious. What happened in 9/11 was tangible because it was visual. So,
Yeah.
when this first started happening, that we were aware of, right? I could understand people going, "Oh, pish posh! Like, what is this?" Because you
Yeah.
can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it until you're literally infected. So,
And
so
also, I feel like
don't
we
they
were
don't
we were
understand.
also, I think we were put to sleep because if you remember, like every year or every other year, there was some kind of virus, and after a while, I mean, if nothing happened, then you kind of like, oh, it's just another virus. You know what I'm saying? It's like we were
Well,
lulled.
to me, it's not about nothing happening. It's nothing happening here.
Right.
So as long as it was over there, it was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. We got lulled. Yeah. So yeah, not anymore. I think that's going to change.
It will only change if people decide to vote. Again, when you have 34% of the population that vote, that's apathy. So what's going to happen? The change is within you. You're the man and the woman in the mirror.
I'm curious as hell as to see what the turnout is going to be in November. I mean, I can't tell which way it's going to. I feel like it's
Nor can I.
50-50.
No,
I can't.
nor can I. I'm just a regular citizen. I'm
Yeah.
not a political scientist, but the change is within me. It's within you. It's
Yeah.
with everyone listening.
Yeah. I'm no political analyst. I'll armchair political analyze. I'll look at something.
What did
'Cause,
what did Blaze just say? Blaze just said something about
uh,
9/11. Did you see that?
9/11 was there. 9/11 there was. He said racism against those from the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Oh, COVID, Chinese people were victims of racism.
Hmm.
Yeah, the whole blame China.
Yeah,
China.
yeah. It's fine as long as it's over there. So
Yeah. But as far as political analyzing, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but it almost looks like, how can he win? He seems like he's trying to lose on purpose.
but that's what we said. That's what we said. That's what we said close to 4 years ago.
Yeah, but,
And again, I'm
but
not. I'm not trying to use hindsight. I'm
right,
not at
right.
all. Um,
But will
I'm
it work
not.
again?
But
Will it
there
work
are
again?
people. He has he has galvanized people, and that's why they came out in the numbers that they did. I
Yeah,
knew something was wrong. I knew it was wrong when ladies were still voting for him after his egregious remarks. So
After his egregious remarks about Mexicans, his egregious his little about not remark, but the visual about the handicap, the physically
oh
challenged.
yeah, 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 the
You
guy
know
with yes.
that the remark in regards to Senator McCain. We don't. I mean, me as a
Yeah, he was
veteran,
a loser. He was a loser because he was right. Well, speak to this. You're a veteran.
that I mean, I didn't like anything from the beginning, but it's like every other week or every other month they got word. He just kept saying something else that was pissing people off. And the veteran, I'm like, POW? Are you fucking kidding me? I thought he would lose all the
The
veterans right
man was
there.
given a Purple Heart. He was given a Purple Heart. Do you remember that? And he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad to have this. I'm so glad." I'm paraphrasing. I'm so glad I didn't have to fight in order to get one of these. Come on,
Hmm.
really? Ugh. Ugh.
I, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's If anything, it's been entertaining. In some ways.
Really? Entertainer to entertainer. I think we can find other options for people.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't
I
want I
know.
don't want my politics to impact me negatively
Yeah,
because of the beauty of sound bites and Twitter posts. No, I'm sorry. No, 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 no,
yeah.
no, no, no,
I hear you,
no.
but it's just. I mean,
There's no upside. There's no upside to this campaign at
it's just
all.
more. Yeah, entertaining as in I. It's just one big joke after another joke after another bad joke after another bad joke. You ever see like that comic that's not getting any laughs, but you just can't believe it, and he's shaking you. It's like it's just nuts. It's just I don't know how else to describe it. You just wow. But it's like a three-legged dog. You can't help but stare. You know?
I guess. I guess maybe I choose to look away. I remain
Yeah.
observant, but
And
it's
the thing is,
listen. We've had other deplorable times in our country's history. So this is our highlight. You know it's bad when George W. Bush looks good now.
remember? Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Man had a shoe thrown after him. So
Yep.
and now
Yeah.
now now he's the temperate one. Oh my God! Like really, the first president with an MBA and was terrible. Ugh. And I'm a B school guy, so woo.
Well, let's wait till November, see what happens. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to see. I don't know what to expect. It's just, I thought I knew what to expect the first time. I have no clue now. It's
The
just
one
so,
the one thing I know is that there are people out there that do not care about the rest of the people, and we've always known that. So we just need our enemies to be more visible, so we hopefully can act accordingly.
and they are. They are. Thanks to this president. I was watching a clip of comedian Sinbad,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you saw, he made a good point about how people are taking off their hoods way too fast thanks to this administration. They're getting too comfortable. They're getting way too comfortable. They're just taking their hoods off and
Yeah.
showing the world. And you see it on social media. You see it all the time. People just, I mean, they have this comfort level. All the Karens and the Kims and making those phone calls and
I'm really offended by the use of these names. So, for example, Karen, like I
right.
refuse to use that. My favorite cousin of all time was Karen.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. Like,
Uh,
really? Like, we can do much better for more stereotypical, white names alleged. But Karen, like I see this all the time. My point is, I'm not taking the bait.
oh,
I
well,
grew up with a Karen. Again, my favorite cousin of all time, my late cousin Karen. And really, really, this is the moniker that we're using
I,
for the
I didn't
stereotype.
start.
I don't
I didn't
understand.
start. But at least when you speak of it in that term, you know where it's coming from in a
I,
way.
I don't get it. I grew up with a Karen. I'm sorry, really, really. So black people don't have Karens?
I don't
Come
know.
on, like give me a
I
break.
I
absolutely
don't.
ridiculous. I'm not
Give it.
unique in the black world of having a family member named Karen. You, there were better names. I would have been better with Ashley.
Ashley.
Ashley would have worked for me. And I know there are black
Okay.
women, black kids with Ashley, but Ashley to me, that would have
All
worked.
right.
But Karen,
Well,
no.
these Ashleys are uncovered. You know, their comfort level of these the Ashley in the park, the Central Park Ashley,
Yeah, Cooper.
who was choking her dog and trying to call 911. I mean, where's this comfort level come from? Where I
It
mean,
comes. Well, I can tell you where it
yeah,
comes from. It
I
comes
know where
from
it
this
comes.
country. It
It
comes
comes
from this
from this.
country. It's called entitlement. It's not a.
Right.
It's nothing new. It's not a new wave. The only thing
No.
about this now is technology.
Right.
It's this. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Now this has been going on since the 90s, right? Because my point is this, and that's what's also concerning, because that's why whether it's Floyd, whether it's Garner, but to me, my real touch point is the late Rodney King. I remember exactly where I was. And my point is this: your eyes are not deceiving you, but this power structure, which does not look like you and I, remains complicit in not treating us equally. Because whether it was he, whether it was Mr. Floyd now, whether it was Mr. Garner, even when we had audio with Trayvon, there is a problem that is systemic to this country that empowers people who do not look like us to get over in minor ways, like Cooper, or in major ways, like people who murder. So the situation that just occurred in Atlanta. So it's great to have the footage. I refuse, just to let you know now that you asked, I refuse to look at any of this footage. Obviously, I saw Rodney King. I was a kid. I saw Rodney King. But the rest of this, I refuse to look at, because you know why? The words make such an indelible impression on me. That's all I need. Because to me, to be candid, we live in a more voyeuristic society than ever before. So I don't need a stamp of approval as a human being or a black man to go, oh, I watched that. I don't need to. Reading about it, seeing a photo still from a paper that I'm reading online or on the weekends physically, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to see this. I don't. And I don't need to see it in order not to feel it. And I feel it all the time.
Also, because as a New Yorker, it's just something that we've been reliving over and over for like the better part of our lives.
Since
Yeah.
our childhoods.
I make sure
Amadou Diallo lived in the Soundview section of the Bronx. My late grandparents also lived in the Soundview section of the Bronx. I went to school in the Bronx. I went to Riverdale Country School. I also went to Our Savior Lutheran. So if you know anything about that stretch of the Bronx, it's separated by the Bruckner Expressway. I always said I wanted to do a book entitled Across the Bridge, because we would always do that. If you wanted to go towards Westchester Avenue from, let's say, Story Avenue, you eventually had to cross a pedestrian bridge. There's a series of them. There are like 3 of them dotted throughout the neighborhood. I used to visit my late grandparents once a week. So when I moved out on my own. And when I decided that day to walk across town versus taking the bus. My grandparents used to live in the old double fare zone, Pudge. So you know what I mean. Train to a bus, but with train. So pre Metro card, when it was 2 individual fares. And it was interesting because they lived too far to walk, but just close enough, but the quickest bus ride from the Hunts Point train. So anyway, I got off the 6th train at Elder Avenue, walking across town to go over one of these bridges to go visit my grandparents. Like a 15-minute walk. And the Diallo situation had just occurred. And I just remember hearing helicopters circling the neighborhood. And I thought it was just such a dark day. And again, I want to go back to something I said earlier. It means nothing unless it happens to you, at least to a great extent. And to literally walk past that building, because that's what I was able to do that I wanted to, to go to my grandparents. I mean, I never forgot that.
No, I feel the same way as a New Yorker. And I told my kids, because this is important, not to forget. You want to talk about never forget, never forget. And I
Right.
told my kids, because they're young, so this is all.
It applies to all races, all
Yeah.
ethnicities.
And I told my kids, this stuff, these things that you hear, New York, it goes way back. And me personally, one of the first stories I remember incidents was Howard Beach, because I'm from Queens.
I remember Howard Beach.
Howard Beach. I think that was one of the first, if not the first. Yes.
Griffin.
Yeah, we
Ed
know.
Koch, who was the mayor at the time, said at the time, and I'm paraphrasing, that this was the worst and most heinous murder in the city's history. So we're saying this beats Kitty Genevieve's. So I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was a child. I remember exactly where I was. And you never get it.
So I think that's why it's important for us never to forget and continue.
He was chased.
Yeah.
He was chased by a mob of Italians.
Because his car broke down.
2 or 3 of them. Car broke down. It was
car broke down. Yeah.
It was Griffin, I think his cousin, and one other individual.
Yeah.
And chased onto the highway. And for someone whose grandparents lived off the Bruckner Expressway, that was very vivid for even a child like myself at that time.
Yeah,
so,
I never
forgot that. I never forgot that. I never forgot Yusuf Hawkins. I never forgot Willie Turks. A lot of people don't remember that one. I don't forget any of these things.
I'm big on Queens.
They're emblazoned in my brain. They're like miniature stamps.
I can't. I'm terrible with names. The gentleman in Jamaica, Queens, after his bachelor party, was shot at 21 times.
Sean Bell.
I remember that. Every time I go to the Park and Violations Bureau in Jamaica, Queens, to pay tickets or fight tickets, I pass by his mural. There's a mural there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Every time I go down Woodhaven Boulevard, Cross Bay Boulevard, either to the beach or wherever, because that leads to Rockaway Beach, I see the pizza place where it all with the Howard Beach incident where it started.
Really?
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh.
So yeah, to drive around New York and especially the Bronx where your grandparents, I know Queens, and to see this spot and that spot, the memories are always there, and I'm always. That's why it's like, sometimes I just roll my eyes. I'm like, it's still happening? Really? Really? It's like, it's almost tiring, but.
It is tiring.
Yeah.
Physically debilitating, and mentally so as well.
But it's important. And right now, hey, let's see what happens. Like you said, optimistically curious.
I'm
cautiously optimistic. Yeah, aren't we all? Cross our fingers. Let's see. Well, hope for the best. Hey, man, listen, I got to wrap things up because this thing's is going to cut off in a few. Yeah, man. Time flies.
Wow.
Time flies. Reg, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope it's okay. We ended up not talking a lot about comedy. I feel like we just did a mini Chappelle in tribute.
Wait, did you see it? That was great.
That's my reference. Yeah, I did.
That was great.
Actually, I posted that on my social.
That was quite a history lesson right there. And again, we got to remind the younger generation and just let them know this is not new.
We have to remind ourselves, and we have to remind people who do not look like us. Because to be honest with you, Pudge, in closing, the conversation that we just had, we're preaching to the converted. The individuals, any of these seismic social changes in this country lie on people who do not look like us. The only way that this alteration of change can be affected and impacted is by people who do not look like us. That's what's really extremely important.
That's a
The story.
That's a hard barrier to break in some communities and for some people, but it's going to be a long fight. It's, you know,
I'm all about a fight.
It's going to take time. Thank you, man. Reginald, hey, where can people find you? Where can people see you?
Sure.
I know we're not.
Our comedy is, I'm not doing any Zoom comedy. That much I can tell you. So hope to be back at the clubs again. Other than that.
Your podcast.
Oh, yeah, my podcast, The Fashion Geeks. It's on
Fashion Geeks.
Yeah, we never even talked about it. Yeah, The Fashion Geeks. It's on Apple, it's on Stitcher, it's on SoundCloud, it's on Spotify, it's on what else am I missing? It's on Breaker. I'm missing one, but it's all the usual suspect platforms. We actually have a new episode coming out on Monday, and it talks about fashion in the time of the two pandemics, COVID and racism. Wow. Yeah. Ooh. So please subscribe, please download. It's we're the little engine that could. We have a really good product. Not enough people know about it. Trying to build it up.
Well, I'm definitely going to have you back then because I need some fashion consulting, and
you do.
So I've had issues. I've had issues.
But and you see the mask.
Yeah.
Match the logo. Look at it. Oh, it was fire.
Yeah. Sometimes I match too much, but anyway, that's another story. But yo, once again, thank you, Reginald Ferguson, the fashion geek, stand-up comedian, social activist. God bless. Thank you. Stay safe. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Be safe.
All right. Peace. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Reginald Ferguson. Thank you again for coming on. That was very insightful. That was I knew I had to get him on. I knew I had to get him on. I love people who speak intelligently about their business, and he speaks intelligently about the business. I don't care. I'm just the type of person. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're right. Personally, I'm a registered independent, all right, because that's how I roll. But just speak intelligently about your business. That's all I ask, all right? Again, laugh right. I don't care. Just speak intelligently. Don't give me this Facebook meme shit, all right? That's ignorant motherfuckers. But yes, shout out to Reginald Ferguson, always speaking intelligently. Love to have him. Going to have him on again later on. Hopefully in a better circumstances, you know, we can talk more funny stuff, comedy and fashion and all that good shit. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this episode. If you miss anything, Hot Pudge Sunday. Check me out on Hot Pudge Sunday on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel, Hot Pudge Sunday. And you'll see all my Hot Pudge Sunday IG lives, Hot Pudge Wednesday one-on-one. 6 feet, 6 questions, a couple of comedy clips, and I don't know, whatever I post, it's going to go there. So again, Pudge Fernandez, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week.